In this video we are going to take a closer look at the Deathwatch Killteams and how to best model them. This is the fourth video of a 4-part series, with each part covering one of the different kill teams available to the Deathwatch. In the previous videos I covered the 3 Primaris Killteams, and now it is finally time to take a look at the Proteus Killteam and how our beloved firstborns handle themselves in this new edition. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. Here you will find tools and guides as versatile as a Swiss army knife to help you build your army. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video. In case you end up liking this content, please feel free to subscribe. With that out of the way, let's get started. The kill teams are the unique feature of the Deathwatch, and all 4 of them have a few things in common. They are a troop's choice, and as such they gain the objective secured ability. Their maximum size is 10 models, and they let you pick a combination of units that would not be possible in other Space Marine armies. This puts the Deathwatch into the convenient position that their troop choices are excellent, and you will hardly ever struggle with any limits on the other slots. With that being said, let's take a closer look at the Proteus Killteam. The Proteus Killteam already existed before 9th edition, but it underwent major changes in regard to how the different units interact with each other. The mandatory starting point is a squad of Deathwatch Veterans, consisting out of 1 Watch Sergeant and 4 Deathwatch Veterans. Stat-wise, these veterans are comparable to company, vanguard or sternguard veterans, meaning they have the 2 wounds and the 2 attacks, but on top of that, they get access to a huge range of weapons. The list is near endless, and as such, it is best to consult the weapon list in the supplement. In short, they can be tailored to fit any role, be it close combat or ranged, though a limit of 4 heavy weapons per squad still applies, and the heavy weapons largely differ from the ones the Devastators get. Some of the bolt guns get access to special issue ammunition, but this has been somewhat limited when compared to 8th edition, and it is best to double check to make sure that whatever bolt gun you pick still qualifies. You can then add any combination of 5 more firstborn models, including more Deathwatch Veterans, including a Black Shield, or Vanguard Veterans, Veteran Bikers and Terminators. This makes for a potentially wild mix, and it is important to pay attention to keywords and abilities. In case of the Veteran Bikers, they count as infantry while mixed with other units, and everyone in the squad can benefit from their fallback and charge again stratagem. However, they only gain the turbo boost ability when in a combat squad exclusively containing other bikers, at which point they will no longer count as infantry. Vanguard Veterans always gain access to melt bombs as well as the fallback and shoot stratagem, but they only get fly when in a combat squad exclusively containing other Vanguard Veterans with jump packs. Last but not least, the Proteus Killteam only gains the Terminator keyword with a combat squad of Terminators. They can use their teleport Homer when in a mixed unit though, and share it with the whole squad. Speaking of sharing, the Crux Terminatus ability states that every model in this unit has a 5+ invul save, so there is no explicit mentioning that every model in the unit must have this ability for it to apply. I know that this is being hotly debated and most likely an oversight, but as it currently stands, it seems that you could give the whole Proteus Killteam a 5+ invul by including a single Terminator. Personally, I think it's going to get removed in a future FAQ, but my guess is as good as yours on this. Before we continue with building kill teams, it's worth mentioning that both toughness and wound allocation play a major role for the Proteus Killteam. For the toughness, the value of the majority of the models has to be taken, and when you assign wounds to a model, you have to keep doing it until all attacks are resolved or the model is dead. This means you have to be careful when assigning wounds to Terminators or veteran bikers, as it can speed up their demise rather than help the kill team. Personally, I think that there are 3 basic approaches to consider when building such a kill team. The first and perhaps most obvious is adding 5 of a different unit type and then using combat squads. For the Proteus Killteam, I think this is still huge, as it lets you get objective secured Terminators and Vanguard Veterans, which are both incredibly good units in 9th edition. As mentioned before, if they are in their own combat squad, they get all their usual keywords, and they can also be kept off the board during deployment. While this has been a hotly debated topic, there is the example given in the Deathwatch supplement that specifically states that when doing combat squads on a Proteus Killteam and one of the squads ends up being 5 Terminators, they can make use of their teleport strike ability for deployment. Also, one thing to consider is that you can give the Terminators any combination of weapons, meaning you can freely mix Assault Terminator and Range Terminator loadouts. There is also no downside to the mandatory 5 Deathwatch Veterans, as their flexible loadout allows them to be tailored to whatever role is required. One way to keep them relatively cheap is to equip them with Stalker Pattern Bolt Guns, a weapon unique to the Deathwatch, which still retains access to special issue ammunition. You then have a perfect unit to leave in the back. With that being said, a second approach would be to leave the kill team intact and use comparably cheap and/or durable bodies to shield other, more valuable units. The Proteus Killteam works a little different here when compared to the Primaris Killteams, because you can potentially make almost any unit expensive or cheap depending on what loadout you give them. The important part to remember here is wound allocation. Once you started to assign them to a model, you have to keep doing it for this round. You can, for instance, include models with a storm shield that will tank wounds, and with that protect more valuable models that you equipped with expensive heavy or close combat weapons. If you wanted to include a black shield alongside other Deathwatch Veterans, this is also the only way to get it done, as it can no longer replace one of the initial 5 Deathwatch Veterans. Personally, I think this second approach goes well when building a close combat focused Proteus Killteam featuring a black shield and then whatever extra units you want to take on top. You could take a Terminator for the teleport homer, and with that the ability to redeploy. You could take some Vanguard Veterans without jump packs, as they end up being cheaper with Lightning Claw and Storm Shield than the regular Vets featuring the same stats. Or you could include a Biker or Vanguard Veteran with a jump pack for access to their respective stratagems. One thing to consider is that you cannot mix Vanguard Veterans with and without jump packs. It is either one or the other. You also do not necessarily require 10 models to make this kind of kill team work. The third and perhaps most creative approach would be to use a mix of units and distribute them among 2 combat squads in a way that makes the most use of the different models' unique abilities. Unfortunately, these options have been limited a bit when compared to what the 8th edition kill team could do, but there are still some interesting options. Combat Squad 1 would feature 1 veteran with a storm shield, 3 heavy weapons, and 1 ranged terminator with a teleport homer. Combat Squad 2 would then feature 1 watch sergeant, 1 black shield with Power Fist and Lightning Claw, for example, 2 Vanguard veterans with Lightning Claws and Storm Shields, and 1 biker. Ultimately, the idea of this approach is to maximize what a single unit can bring to the combat squad without impairing the abilities of the rest. Combat Squad 1 has a lot of firepower and can be redeployed if needed. The Storm Shield veteran is there assuming that the squad-wide Crux Terminatus is an oversight. Combat Squad 2 makes use of heavy hitters like the Watch Sergeant and the Black Shield being protected by comparably cheap Vanguard veterans, while the Biker allows them to fall back and charge again with the stratagem. Obviously, the exact composition of these combat squads can be adjusted as desired for as long as there are a minimum of 5 Deathwatch Veterans, including the Sarge. So, hopefully this has given you guys some ideas on how to build your own Proteus Killteams. To quickly summarize, the Proteus Killteam, as any other kill team, counts as a troops choice, meaning everyone has the objective secured ability. The Deathwatch Veterans come with 2 wounds and 2 attacks in their profile, meaning they are on par with Vanguard or Sternguard veterans and even intercessors. They can be equipped with a huge variety of weapons, enabling them to be used as both close combat or ranged specialists. Using combat squads can be tempting in combination with Vanguard veterans or Terminators, as these units will then come with all their original benefits and get objectives secured on top of that. Last but not least, here are some modeling recommendations for a Proteus kill team. This is the one kill team where you want to pretty much magnetize everything. For both the Deathwatch Veterans and the Vanguard Veterans, I recommend magnetizing both weapon arms as well as the backpack. This also means that you can freely exchange Deathwatch Veterans and Vanguard Veterans, as they are basically the same firstborn Space Marine model. As you can freely mix Assault and Ranged Terminators, it also makes sense to magnetize these. Additionally, I have set up around 5 Terminators with an additional magnet on top for the Cyclone missile launcher. Last but not least, veteran bikers can pick from a variety of close combat weapons, and as such, magnetizing the arm with the close combat weapon is useful as well. That's it for the Proteus kill team. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again, and see you next time.